100 years ago, giant monsters in human form appeared, and they were called Titans. The Titans began to destroy the world, eating ordinary humans. The surviving humans built a large wall to protect themselves. Humans were destined to live in peace again, and they hoped the walls would last forever. After 100 years, people started to forget about the Titans. The Titans became a legend. Just words in history books and stories told to scare children. Ordinary people lived behind the walls. They were forbidden to leave, because the government prevented anyone from transgressing. From that time on, people lived behind walls and never left them. The world behind the walls was divided into regions. The third region belonged to peasants who lived in agricultural lands, planting and harvesting. The second area belonged to factories, and the first area, which was considered the farthest from the walls, belonged to the aristocratic class. It was strictly forbidden for anyone to move between areas. One day, inside the walls, we meet a young man named Aaron. Armin, Mikasa, and others lived in the third area. They loved each other very much. The place they were in was an area of missiles and cannons. Aaron was looking at the walls, and one day he himself was climbing over the walls to see what was behind them. The missile next to him was ringing. A map drawn on the rocket is revealed, and they see the sea on the map. The three of them are amazed. She tries to imagine the shape of the sea in reality and says, "Surely this is a beautiful place." Then Aaron repeats that he is counting the walls. Aaron manages to convince his companions, takes them, and asks to go to the top of the walls. When they arrive, they are shocked by the size of the wall up close. He wanted to climb the wall and cross to the other side. But there was a commotion, and Armin was trying to stop him, telling him, behind the wall, in my work. They meant the Titans, and they might eat him. But Aaron did not believe in the existence of the Titans at all because no one had seen them for 100 years. Soldiers arrive and try to take them away. But Aaron does not surrender to the soldiers and hits them. They do not care about the consequences that will happen to him after he hits the soldiers. A soldier is about to hit Aaron with fire. But with me, Zelda remains a friend of Aaron's father and the commander of the soldiers. So Zelda intervenes and stops the fighting between them and tells the soldiers that he will deal with these children. When the soldiers walked away, Zelda criticizes Aaron's actions. But he was sympathetic to Aaron's desire to be free and modify a wall. He tells them, "You don't have to venture alone. And you climb the wall, like that. The army issued a decision that they will climb the wall and explore it. But suddenly they hear explosions, and the ground begins to shake violently, as if there is an earthquake. The wall also begins to collapse, and there is someone in it. On the other hand, it becomes a wall, and then there is smoke around his body, and there is smoke around his body. The army soldiers are in love with the giant beast, and they are terrified. And then there is smoke around his body. The giant beast appears, and they are terrified. The giant continues to scream loudly and hit the wall with his foot. He continues to hit the wall with his foot. He continues to hit the wall like this. He continues to hit the wall like this. He continues to hit the wall like that. For the Titans, they defend themselves and hit the Titans with cannons. But these attacks do nothing but slow down the Titans' attack on them. Because the Titans have the ability to heal and regenerate destroyed cells and move towards the soldiers. The soldiers are terrified and afraid. Those who can run. The Titans catch the soldiers and eat them alive. Aaron and his companions try to escape and return to their homes. All those in the city were dead from fear and terror. Chaos occurs in the city because of the stampede and panic among the people. The Titans walk behind the people and begin to destroy all their buildings, eat anyone in their path, and trample on people with their feet. Because humans are like insects to them, the Titans were eating people with ease. Aaron took over people with their feet. Because humans are like insects to them, and the Titans were eating people with ease. Aaron took a lazy man in a big house. Aaron took over a big house. Aaron took over a big house. All the people of the city were afraid. At the height of horror, they refused to open the door at all. And Bishop's horn from the net, one of his giant idols. She looked scary and was approaching Mikasa. Mikasa is terrified when she sees the monster. But she accepts her fate, surrenders, and lowers her head. Suddenly there is a big explosion. Due to the intensity of the explosion, all the people are lying on the ground. Aaron looks out of the window and finds it broken. The Titans have disappeared, so he leaves the place. The people quickly lock behind the door. Aaron looks at the city and is shocked because the city has been completely destroyed. When he turns around, he sees the illusion in his hand. The house where the city's people hid, and they start eating all the people who came inside. We see blood coming down from under the door. Aaron walks from the place and goes to the second area where the factories are. He is in a state of shock and despair over what happened. 2 years after this disaster, we go to the second area. We see that the people were still alive. Thanks to their strong wall, the army was planning to control the area. The third one was attacked by the Titans. We know that the people who were able to live fled to the second area and plundered their farms in the area. The third one is being destroyed. The destruction of the farms caused me in food resources. The death and crime rates increased with it. The army must regain the third area, repair the wall, and confront the Titans so that they can save themselves and save the people from hunger. General Kubo provides the soldiers with a weapons expert, Captain Hang, with a new device for the soldiers. This device is supposed to help them kill the Titans. This device can make them fly in the air. Hang knows that the Titans' weakness is their neck. So she tells them that if we target their neck, they will die. As for Aaron, he joined. He and his partner are Armenians. We understand that he is also an Armenian who was able to survive the massacre of the Titans 2 years ago. Aaron was taking responsibility for himself, killing Mix, and they met Captain Zelda, who was distributing food to them. But Captain Zelda was in a difficult situation because he was always drunk and lost hope in life. Armin explains to his colleagues that they must blow up the upper part of the wall, so that when the upper part collapses, it will close the hole that they are afraid of. And so the wall will be an impact, but it will remain longer than the normal size of the Titans. And then we will try to kill and recover. The soldiers are preparing to move at sunset, because those who sleep at night are exactly like humans. The army begins to move at night and walk in carts. The captain feels that there is someone moving in front of them, so they stop the cart. The soldiers come out and begin to explore the place. But it turns out that what is in front of them were a few cows, and one of the team's names is Hannah. You hear the voice of a small child crying at the walls. You think that this child is in danger and needs someone to save him. So you decide to move towards the sound and you see this child. Aaron decides to go after her. Just as Shahiana also hears the voice of the small child. Shahiana also hears the voice of the small child. Shahiana also hears the voice of the small child. Just like Mikasa lost. And he also hears the voice of the small child. Suddenly there is a stranger who falls on Hina's face. And the two dragons who are inside the walls. He was eating an ordinary human being. And the baby Titan fell and sat crying on the ground. While the two Titans were afraid and ran. And at that time, the whole monster of the Titans woke up to the child's voice and surrounded our team. The captain was trying to guide his team so that they would not hear their voice, but he still did not finish. His words appeared the captain, Aaron, and Hannah ate trying to run to the team while the Titans expelled them. General Kubo noticed the danger that was coming to them, so he took off the weapons and left the soldiers unwell while they were at risk. The soldiers had no solution but to run, but one of the Titans appeared in front of them. And before he left, he died. A captain named Shikishima appeared with his weapon and attacked the giant monster from his neck and was able to kill him. And another one appeared with the same weapon and was able to kill another Titan, and the giant fell to the ground. It turns out that the girl who did this was Mikasa, and she saw Aaron, but she did not pay attention to him. Captain Shikishima came to her, and they divorced. While they were the two monkeys and Aaron, he was shocked and surprised that she was still alive. It turns out that Shikishima is one of the army soldiers. He is the one who taught Mikasa how to fight the Titans. And with the new weapon, they will be able to fly and reach the Titans' necks and kill them. And General Kobe Pori Chikishima, the earthly corridor that will hide in humans. And this is in the case that they lost the war from the one named Jean, Aaron. He is right. And he says it was because of you that we're all gonna die. Aaron becomes fanatical about him. And the two of them begin to quarrel. The quarrel breaks up between them. And asks Shikishima about his name. And then he asks to speak privately. Shikishima asks him, why do you hate the Titans? He acknowledges that he responded to him intuitively and told him that because they stole our land and our freedom. But Shikishima did not agree with all of Aaron's words. He tells him that humans are the ones who put themselves in this danger a long time ago because they locked themselves inside the walls encourages him. He tells him that fear is the enemy of man. And fear is what forces you to flee, and we must fight the Titans with all courage in order to regain our land. Then he goes to Mikasa and tells her that he is happy that he saw her alive. And he tells her that he is happy that he saw her alive. But Mikasa, and she tells her that he is not happy at all. The child who was with her has eaten him, and I have a big bite on her body from the Titans. And she says to him that he is not happy at all. For an hour, the child who was with her has eaten him. And she has a big bite on her body. And she says to him that he is not happy at all. When she is young, I will face this giant monster alone. Shikishima comes, and she says to him that he is alone. And she has a big bite on her body. He is alone. And he saves me. Shikishima says to him that he is alone. Comes, and then Shikishima appears that he is alone. And then Shikishima appears that he is alone. And then Shikishima appears that he is alone. And she says to him that he is. Shikishima. And that he is alone. Shikishima. And he says to him that he is. And she says to him that he is. He is alone. When she is young, Shikishima, and he is alone. When he comes, Shikishima, when he comes, Shikishima, you don't love him anymore. So he goes outside and sits screaming. Hannah appears, guides Aaron, tries to breathe a cup, takes the place with her, tries to console him. Hannah tells him that her husband died 2 years ago when the Titans attacked them, and she decided to join the army so that she would have money with her and be able to spend it on her daughter. Suddenly, one of the titans interrupts their words and looks at them through a small hole. Then he begins to pull Hannah away to eat it. He compares and sees what is happening, and he has no choice. Other titans appear and move closer to the soldiers, and the soldiers the place, and they run away. And the soldiers who have the weapons that you let fly attack the titans. And Shikishima attacks the titans with all courage, and kills a large number of them. And also Mikasa joins him and kills one after the other. But there are soldiers who die and are pushed away from the titans. And a large number of soldiers die because they are afraid and do not know how to fight. And his cup is ordering the soldiers that they are protecting the explosives. And one of the soldiers is crying over her husband who died from the titans. And Captain Zelda is trying to guide her and take her away. And she is saying that she is taking revenge on the titans and Captain. He notices that someone steals an explosives cart and escapes from the battlefield. But the woman whose husband died jumps on the cart before she escapes, takes the explosives in the cart, jumps in front, hits the thief driver who wanted to escape, throws him, takes control of the cart, and the woman moves towards the giant who killed her husband, and she is afraid of it in the cart, and the explosives are working, and a big explosion occurs, and one of the titans falls like this. But these attacks and explosions were aimless because the titans are able to regenerate their cells. They stand up again and eat people, and Eren sees Jean hiding on the roof, and he tells him that he is a murderous soul like the rest, but Jean confesses to the Najaban, and Eren thinks that Shikishima told him before about fear, and Eren runs with a weapon to kill the titans. And at the height of anger he tries to kill them, but Eren faces difficulty because he does not know how to fight nor does he know how to use the weapon. And Shikishima sees the courage of Eren and begins to direct him. How does he kill the titans? And Eren, with all his courage, can kill one of them. And before he was going to celebrate his first victory, why does he fly? By mistake towards a bug. One of the titans and the giant. Unfortunately, one of the two men ate Eren, and Eren fell on the roof. One of the elders and the soldiers notice that the people surrounding the building in which Jean is imprisoned, and Armin is planning a plan to save him. And the soldiers start making very loud noises to attract the attention of the titans, and the titans are distracted, and Jean has a chance to use the new weapon to attack one of the titans and kill him. And then the soldiers who the voices came out were running away. But unfortunately, Armin is holding on to one of the titans. They are still eating, but everyone intervenes and attacks the giant. But their attacks were not effective against him. Eren sees his owner, Armin, in danger, so the giant moves in good health despite his injury, and the giant opens a bug to eat Armin. But Eren stands on one leg in order to reduce its owner, and after swallowing it was trying to climb and get out of the bug, but workers were skating, and at the last moment Eren appeared, grabbed his hand, and tried to save him. While he opened the giant's jaw, threw Eren outside the giant's bug, and he fell. He is inside a giant bug and swallows. Edo and Benzel Eren for the giant's belly, and they see people's stories. Among them is Hina, who is eaten before his eyes and distributes a horn with every pen and swears that he will kill all people. At the same time, the soldiers who remained were trapped. While General Kobo, no one knew his whereabouts. And Armin told me that this is broken, the one who has remained for a century. And Mikasa looks at the hand of a century, and she is shocked and repeatedly takes revenge on Eren and goes to die the titans. And Mikasa can kill such and such one with ease, but her weapon runs out of gas, and she expects it to fall on the ground and approach the giant who ate Eren and stayed there, even though the weapon no longer works with her. But you repeatedly fight until your last breath. But something strange happens, and the giant comes back and starts a broadcast of pain, and a hand comes out of the giant, and his body explodes. And another giant appears inside him, red in color. And the red giant that appeared keeps screaming and coming towards the titans, attacking them, killing the titans from their weak points, and waking you up with his legs. And the soldiers see what is happening, and they are very surprised and happy, even though they don't understand how this happens. It's just cream. Their souls have never seen one of the titans attacking one of his people before, and the red giant continues to destroy the second titans. And the titans try to multiply on him and beat him, but they do not know how to kill him. The red giant was very strong, and he finishes them with ease. And when he looks at him, he feels that his style of fighting is very familiar to her. And Captain Zelda looks at this fight and feels that the one who fights will last a century. And the red giant is able to eliminate all the titans alone and continues to scream with all ferocity. And the titans that remain will run away and not. He is in a battle with him. And the red giant sees the soldiers on the roof, and he runs towards them, and they are all afraid and running without the cup of the one who calls for Eren. The giant stands for a moment, but he grabs a broken one and lifts it in the air, and keeps picking it up, and then he recognizes it. And Aaron regains consciousness and turns and falls on the ground. His body still emits smoke from the fire that was inside his body, and again approaches him and cuts his neck with a sword, and it was able to come out. Compare his body, and we see Aaron alive, and also his limbs that he ate return to him again. And this is thanks to the cell regeneration that the Titans have. All of them are surprised by what they are seeing, and Shikishima is seeing it from afar, and it was clear to him that he was not surprised that Aaron had turned into one of the Titans, and Aaron was still unconscious. We continue and see a flashback of Aaron when he was young, and we see that Aaron's father did an experiment on Aaron and injected Aaron in Egypt for someone other than his DNA. And this serum can turn Aaron into one of the Titans. And Aaron's mother did not want her to be injected with anything, but Aaron's father told her that when he grows up, he will have great merit in saving humans. Thanks. Captain Zalda was present, and he took Aaron and then the government appeared to arrest Aaron's father and his wife so that news reached them that Aaron's father was conducting and it was forbidden for the peasants to do that. And Commander Kobe was the commander of the soldiers. And Aaron's father and mother. When they resisted the soldiers, while Aaron and Captain Zalda were hiding, and then he burned the entire library, and Captain Zalda took Aaron and fled. And we returned to the ground, and Aaron rose, and he found the soldiers tied up, raising weapons on him. And General Kobo. He ordered the arrest of Aaron. And the reason for this is that Aaron did not like that Aaron had turned into one of the Titans. And he had a certain theory and philosophy. And he told them how humanity was united after his retirement behind walls. And he told them how humanity was united after living behind walls. And they were left with one enemy, which was Al. Although the food resources were reduced, people were happy because, in the utmost simplicity, everything was equal to the other, and no one was higher than one. And the ability of Aaron to transform into a giant threatens this evening. He also says that he has never seen a human being transform into a giant in his life. And whoever credits that his work means that he is one of the giants. You hide in our midst. This is except that his limbs that were destroyed have come back again. And there is no normal person who can do that. And Aaron is trying to explain to his cup that he is a normal person. But his cup was determined to kill him. And before they were going to kill Aaron, Armin comes out and defends Aaron and says that Aaron is the one who saved us. And Aaron is the only one who can defend us from the Titans. And Captain Hang was also against the decision that Aaron should be killed. And Armin says that Aaron can help us and close the hole in the wall. But Kobe says to the Armenians, "You are completely silent because you are accused of stealing your Arabic." And Kuba orders the soldiers, giving him their weapons to kill Aaron. But he enters Captain Zalda and explains to the people the power of Aaron, and says that Aaron can control his power and transform at any time he wants. But his consciousness disappears when he turns into a giant. And before I was still doing this, he was going to continue. The soldiers kill him and finish him off, and Zalda, he wanted to say something important to Aaron, but he did not catch up, and he died. And suddenly a giant appears and jumps at them from the ceiling. And General Kubo and a few soldiers wake you up. And the remaining soldiers hit him with fire. But hit this fire. He brought any result because we see that this giant has shields covering his body. And the giant kills soldiers with ease and catches Aaron. And there are soldiers who tried to fly and let him go from his neck, but the giant repels them, and he was aware of everything. And the giant looks at Mikasa in a strange way and walks from the place with Aaron. And then Captain Hang has become the new general in Kobo's place. And he repeats the plan to close the hole in the wall. But the first one must go and get a bomb from a certain place. And we go to Aaron, who is standing in front of him. And he hears strange songs for him. And he sees in front of him the device that plays the songs. And it will be Aaron. He does not understand what this device is. And it will be Aaron. He does not understand what this device is. And this is because it is a 100-year-old device. And the songs are standing, and Shikishima appears in the place. And Shikishima appears in the place. And Shikishima says to Aaron, "I saved you from the giant who kidnapped you, but I couldn't kill him." And he says to Aaron, "I saved you from the giant who kidnapped you, but I couldn't kill him, and he ran away from me." And then what? This is after humans achieved a virus around them for a client. The one who made this virus was Aaron's father, but the experiment failed because they lost control of the giants. And also the virus was spreading among the people. And the people preferred to turn into Titans and spread devastation throughout the world. And the Titans are immortal. And they will prefer to live, and there is nothing that reduces their appetite or kills them, other than their weakness, which we know. And then the humans entered a war against the Titans. And the rest, we know. And then Shikishima tells me that the government wanted people to forget their past easily. And Shikishima also says that the attack that happened on the walls. The government is what it did because people are afraid, and the government prefers to control them. But Shikishima does not know who is in the government who controls everything. The explosives that they made from General Kubo and Aaron in my hand, the weapon that makes it flow, and on the other hand, the soldiers can bring the bomb. And what they were planning was that they would detonate it in the wall and block the hole and gain. She remembers her sweet days in this place with Eren. But the men of Shikishima appear in front of them and raise their weapons at them. And Eren appears among them and goes to greet Mikasa and Mikasa. She is happy that she sees a living Eren. And Shikishima also appears and examines the bomb that the soldiers brought and says to everyone present, "We will use this bomb again." And he says, "We will blow up the wall with it, and make all the workers fear and destroy all the members of the army and the government." Eren is surprised by Shikishima's words because it is the first time they hear Eren. He was thinking that they will use the bomb to block the wall, and he says to Shikishima, "If we hear your words, there are innocent people who will die on the tracks." But Shikishima saw that people. This deserves death because they put themselves under the rule of a corrupt government. "Join me, and we are the ones who will win." But he thinks of all the people who died because of this. And he upsets Shikishima and refuses to be on his side. On Shikishima, and he attacks him. But Shikishima was caught, and his heart was on the ground. And Eren stood up and tried to attack Shikishima again. But Shikishima evaded all his blows and attacked Eren and knocked him to the ground and challenged Eren and told him to transform into a giant. Every now and then he stood up and tried to attack him. But he fell to the ground. And Eren did not know where he hit Shikishima completely. And every little while he practiced and fell on the ground. And he almost intervened and wanted Shikishima to stop what he was doing. But Shikishima laughed and looked at her in front of Eren and Mikasa. Then Mikasa struck Shikishima on his face. So Shikishima stood up. So Shikishima stood up and attacked him. But he is also beaten and takes the one who has the share, Armin, and another named Sanagi. They wanted to help Eren in any way and saw in front of them an almost collapsed building. While Shikishima raises his weapon on Eren. But Armin tells him to stand there, or he will blow up the whole place with explosives, and we will all die. Sanagi is ordered to take Eren and put him in Al Arabiya. But Shikishima was not afraid of Armin nor of his threats, and he orders his men to hit him on the fire. But suddenly a hook comes from in front of his head and grabs the building. The one who did this was Sanagi, and he wanted to bomb the building with explosives so that it would explode. And he ordered Armin to escape quickly in Arabic and begin to pull the building with all his might. But Shikishima's men fire on Sanagi and kill him. Sanagi at the last moment is able to bomb the building with explosives, and Armin takes advantage of the opportunity and escapes in Arabic. And there is an explosion. There is a big explosion in the place. And everyone who was present died. But Shikishima appears and comes out of the living and comes out in Arabic. And he was determined to take the bomb. And then he took out his sword. Surprisingly, he stabbed himself with it. And his bone and strange things began to appear in Shikishima's back. And he left us and ran away quickly. And Shikishima turned into one of the Titans. And Armin saw him and was shocked and understood that Shikishima was the giant who attacked them and kidnapped Eren from their midst when he died. And Eren, when he saw what happened, wanted to get out of himself. He also turns to the prisoner and stops him and tells him that the same movement will work for you. And he tells him that we are not sure that the same movement will work for you. And he tells him that the giant Shikishima begins to approach them and show them his strength. And he kills too. Your job is to appear in the place. And our team is flying in the air using weapons towards Shikishima. And they prefer to fly in such a direction to distract him. And our team is flying in the direction of Shikishima. And he prefers to fly in such a direction in order to distract him. And one named Sasha attacks Shikishima in the eye. And one named Sasha attacks Shikishima in the eye. Is the hit not? And Shikishima gets up on his feet and heads for the bomb. But before he gets the bomb, he sees Eren turn into a giant. After I was beaten by Shikishima, the two screamed with anger and started attacking each other and exchanging punches. But every Eren was attacking Shikishima. He was the one who was getting hurt because Shikishima's giant body was full of shields. And Shikishima controlled the fight and dropped Eren on the ground. And then with his hand on the man. And Shikishima was going to finish off Eren finally. But Eren was holding a giant iron from the ground. Shikishima raised her. This Hodada penetrates the Shikishima shield. And Eren gathered his strength and struck him in the face. And Shikishima sat on the building. And Shikishima stays like this. He is defeated and begins to transform into his human form again. He shouted after he defeated him and went to grab the bomb, removed it, placed it on his back, and climbed the wall. His companions, the soldiers, are coming after him. And he reaches a certain stage, after which he loses all his energy. But he quickly puts the bomb in place before he falls and loses consciousness. And you see that Eren is tired and weary, so you go away. He attacks his neck with knives, and after a century, he returns to his normal state. And then Armin adjusts the bomb. It explodes after 5 minutes. I hope our departed ones will be able to escape him. But a surprise occurs, and they see General Cobb still alive and standing on the wall. And in some way he was able to live, and Cobb tells them, I will give you money and authority, but in return, leave the wall as it is and hand it over to the government. But the team rejects all Cobb's requests, so Cobb struck them with fire and wounded Armin in his leg. And Cobb upset them and told them, "You are all idiots." Before he could continue his words, suddenly Sasha hits him with an arrow and his cup falls over the wall. You think that's how he died? It is not, because a cup will then turn into a very huge giant. It turns out that this is the giant who destroyed the wall with his foot in the beginning 2 years ago. And let the Titans be parted in the first. Then they attack Kobe, but they cannot get close to him easily because of his body temperature. It was very high, and his cup was holding the bomb and trying to prevent it from exploding. And he came attacking his cup and trying to prevent it from destroying the bomb. He dies with a single blow from Kobo, and then Kobo, and he wanted to grab Eren, but he found a missile he was training on from Captain Hang and his cup. Despite the injury to the one he had, but he still wanted to reach a bomb and Eren. At that time, the opportunity came to him that they would attack from behind, and he was approaching his neck to kill him. And at the same time, the 5 minutes of the bomb's attack were over. But the strange thing is that it does not explode. And this is because Kobo was able to destroy the bomb's reactor, and Mikasa went towards the reactor to repair it. But she did not know the basis of how this could be repaired. And it turns out that Shikishima is still alive. After what I met him with Eren, and he appears to Mikasa and Shikishima. He was upset that they chose protection instead of freedom. And he tells her that humans will prefer all their lives to repair the wall and hide. And Mikasa tells him that we still have hope of saving people if we kill the tyrant whose name is Kobe. And at the same time, Eren was able to reach Kobe's neck and open his neck with a sword. But Kobe was able to grab Eren like an insect. Before Eren, he was about to finish him, and his cup was about to kill Eren. But Shikishima is released and climbs the building and with the bomb. So Kobe knocks Eren out of his hand. He leans over his cup while holding the bomb and throws it into his cup bug. From the heat of his body, the bomb will explode in them. They are the 2 dragons, and the 2 dragons are dying. Thus, Shikishima sacrificed himself for Kobe to die. This explosion blew the top of the wall, and the rocks fell from above, while Eren was among the rocks and trying to give birth to his life. But Mikasa grabs his hand and saves him, and the rocks all fall under and block the hole that they were afraid of. They saved themselves and climbed the wall and stood on it from above and saw the sea for the first time in their lives. Thus, they still achieve their dream and are amazed by the beauty of the sea. And thus we have reached the end of 2 parts that may be Titan, and whoever has reached the end of the episode. And if you made it this far, wow, you're a legend. If you enjoyed the ride, hit that like button and help us reach 40,000 likes. Your support means the world. Don't forget to subscribe for more mind-bending stories just like this one. And hey, drop a comment below. See you in the next one.
Don't forget to subscribe, comment your favorite scene, and we'll see you in the next one. Truz, only on Recapify.